Atlantic City, New Jersey. MMAjunkie was on scene and reporting live from today's early and official UFC Fight Night 128-fighter weigh-ins, where a main event fighter came in heavy and 2 fights were lost. The original headliner, between Kevin Lee, 16-3 MMA, 9-3 UFC, and Edson Barboza, 19-5 MMA, 13-5 UFC, will go on, despite the fact that the Motown Phenom tipped the scale 1 pound heavy at 157. Lost from the card was a women's bantamweight bout between Aspen Ladd, 6-0 MMA, 1-0 UFC, and Leslie Smi, the 1st of July, 10 MMA, 4-3 UFC. Ladd was above the 136 limit, and Leslie opted not to fight on after a deal she liked couldn't be worked out. Additionally, it was discovered during the weigh-ins that Magomedov, 14-1 MMA, 1-1 UFC, was ruled out of his flyweight fight against Ulka Sasaki, the 2nd of May, 20 MMA, 3-4 UFC, due to an injury. Early weigh-ins took place at the UFC host hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and precede the ceremonial weigh-ins for the fans, which take place at 5 p.m. ET at Boardwalk Hall. The same venue hosts Saturday's event, which airs on FS1 following early prelims on UFC Fight Pass. View 23 images. The full UFC Fight Night 128 weigh-in results included: main card, FS1, 10 p.m. ET, Edson Barboza, 155.6 vs. Kevin Lee, 157, Frankie Edgar, 145.6 vs. Cub Swanson, 145, Chase Sherman, 247 vs. Justin Willis, 265.4, David Branch, 186 vs. Thiago Moreta Santos, 185.8, Brett Johns, 135.8 vs. Aljamain Sterling, 135.2, Dan Hooker, 155.6 vs. Jim Miller, 155.4, preliminary card, FS1, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Alex Garcia, 171 vs. Ryan LaFleur, 170.6, CR Bahadurzada, 171 vs. Leon Chagas, 170, Corey Anderson, 205 vs. Patrick Cummins, 205.6, Merab Dvalishvili, 135.2 vs. Ricky Simon, 135.8, preliminary card, UFC Fight Pass, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Tony Martin, 170.6 vs. Kaden Nakamura, 170.6. For more on UFC Fight Night 128, check out the UFC Rumors section of the